Los Angeles, a city long associated with dreams, opportunities, and its iconic skyline, is now facing a stark and grim reality. The city's once breathtaking beauty has been overshadowed by the plumes of smoke rising from the ongoing Palisades and Eden wildfires, two of the most devastating disasters in the city's history. There are growing concerns that this new wave of displacement will push the city's unhoused population to unprecedented levels. Now let's explore the dark side of homelessness in Los Angeles with Unknown Travel in today's video. We'll take a closer look at how these wildfires have exacerbated the crisis and the long-term economic and social consequences they have created. The Palisades and Eden fires are not just disasters. They are symbols of the growing vulnerability of Los Angeles in the face of natural calamities.
Hi there, how many more horses do you have?
We have a couple we just let loose over there. We're trying to get as many as we can out. Yeah.
Are any homes out there on fire?
What happened to the cars? What happened to
These wildfires have become some of the most destructive in the city's history, leaving behind a profound sense of loss. As of February 2025, the fires have consumed more than 54,000 acres of land, destroying thousands of homes and leaving entire neighborhoods in ruins. The Palisades fire alone has already claimed 29,000 acres of land, ravaging more than 15,000 structures, while the Eden fire has decimated 13,750 homes in Altadena and the surrounding communities. At least 28 lives have been lost, with many more injured or displaced, making this disaster one of the deadliest in recent memory. The physical toll on the city is staggering, but it's the socio-economic aftermath that poses the most significant long-term challenges. More than 150,000 residents have been forced to flee their homes, either seeking shelter in overcrowded evacuation centers or relying on temporary housing that offers no real sense of stability. This immediate displacement is just the beginning of a much broader crisis that will continue to unfold in the months and years ahead. But the economic impact is only starting to reveal its full extent. Initial estimates place the total damage from the fires at a mind-boggling $260 billion to $350 billion. This amount far exceeds any previous wildfire-related losses in the city's history. For uninsured or underinsured homeowners, rebuilding their homes is almost an impossible feat. Even for those with insurance, the long and expensive process of rebuilding could take years, during which many will remain in temporary housing, or worse, on the streets. The rental market, already stretched thin due to a housing shortage, faces further strain as demand skyrockets and rental prices rise sharply. The middle class and low-income families, already struggling to find affordable housing in the city, are now at even greater risk of being pushed into homelessness. Los Angeles has been at the epicenter of the homelessness crisis for years, and these wildfires are exacerbating an already dire situation. In 2024, the city's homeless population stood at over 119,000 people, with nearly 60% of them living unsheltered. The combination of skyrocketing housing prices, economic inequality, and insufficient social safety nets has left a growing number of Angelenos without a place to call home. The wildfires have added an additional layer of complexity, further straining the city's ability to address the needs of its most vulnerable residents. The fires have displaced thousands of individuals who were already at risk of losing their homes. As homes and businesses are consumed by flames, families are left with no choice but to seek refuge in crowded shelters or on the streets. For these individuals, the wildfires have not just destroyed their homes, they've taken away the foundation on which their livelihoods were built. The damage caused by these fires has already resulted in a significant increase in homelessness, with estimates suggesting that the city's homeless population could rise by as much as 20%, pushing the total number of unhoused people beyond 142,000 by the end of 2025. The wildfires exacerbate homelessness in several ways. First, they cause immediate displacement, with families being forced from their homes and left with few options for shelter. Second, the fires have crippled local economies, eliminating jobs and closing businesses, which further destabilizes the livelihoods of the already vulnerable. For many, the loss of their homes and income is the final blow that pushes them into homelessness. Among the most vulnerable victims of this crisis are children. Los Angeles already has one of the highest rates of child homelessness in the nation, with nearly 21,000 children experiencing homelessness annually. As the wildfires continue to devastate communities, that number is expected to grow, leaving even more children without stable housing. These young residents are facing the daunting challenge of disrupted education, emotional trauma, and limited access to critical resources such as food and health care. The impact on children's education is particularly troubling. For many, the firestorms have interrupted school years, leaving them with gaps in their learning that may never be fully filled. The emotional toll of losing their homes and communities can lead to long-term mental health issues, which may persist for years, if not a lifetime. Low-income families are also at significant risk of homelessness due to these wildfires. Already struggling with high rents and low wages, many of these families were barely holding on before the fires struck. Now, they face even greater challenges. The loss of affordable housing in Los Angeles, particularly in neighborhoods more susceptible to wildfires, further tightens the housing market. For families already living paycheck to paycheck, being displaced by a wildfire could result in losing everything, including their access to stable housing. The housing crisis in Los Angeles has been a long-standing issue, and the wildfires have only made it worse. In the wake of the fires, the demand for housing has surged, pushing rental prices higher and making it even more difficult for those already struggling to afford a place to live. The supply of affordable housing in the city has always been limited, but the wildfires have destroyed many of the homes that were previously available to low-income residents. Rebuilding efforts have been slow and costly, and in many cases, the cost of construction is simply too high for low-income families to afford. As a result, the number of affordable housing units available in Los Angeles is dwindling, leaving thousands with no choice but to seek shelter in overcrowded conditions or live on the streets. Moreover, high property values in the fire-affected areas have made rebuilding a luxury that only the wealthiest residents can afford. For those in lower-income neighborhoods, rebuilding is not an option. These areas, already struggling with poverty and lack of resources, have now become even more vulnerable as their residents are left without a safe place to stay. As if the wildfires weren't enough of a crisis, they have also contributed to an increase in crime throughout Los Angeles. The city, already grappling with high crime rates, is seeing an alarming rise in criminal activity in the wake of the wildfires. Looting, property theft, and violent crimes are on the rise as law enforcement struggles to keep up with the escalating chaos. In the first few days following the fires, over 300 looters were arrested as they took advantage of the widespread destruction. Law enforcement officials are working overtime to protect vulnerable communities and prevent further looting, but the situation continues to deteriorate. The National Guard has even been deployed to help local authorities manage the increasing crime rate in the aftermath of the fires. The economic hardship caused by the wildfires has created an environment ripe for crime. As businesses close, homes are destroyed, and jobs are lost, many people are left with few options. For some, crime becomes a survival mechanism, an unfortunate consequence of a system that leaves too many people behind. This surge in criminal activity is also being fueled by the psychological toll of the disaster. Grief, loss, and trauma often lead to violent behavior as people struggle to cope with the devastation around them. How wildfires are accelerating the city's crime crisis. The impact of the wildfires on crime rates in Los Angeles is undeniable. While wildfires are typically thought of as environmental catastrophes, they also create the perfect storm for criminal activity. With thousands of people displaced, jobs lost, and businesses destroyed, the social fabric of Los Angeles is beginning to unravel, leaving gaps that criminals are quick to exploit. The rise in looting has been one of the most visible and alarming signs of this breakdown. Looters have taken advantage of the chaos left in the wake of the wildfires, raiding abandoned stores and homes. While the Los Angeles Police Department has responded with increased patrols, the sheer scale of the devastation has meant that resources are stretched thin. In some areas, the presence of law enforcement officers is sparse, and the chaos of looting has only escalated. The increasing violence and property crime are a direct consequence of the power vacuum created by the firestorm. In response, the local government has mobilized the National Guard to assist in the enforcement of law and order, but the challenges continue to grow. The desperation felt by individuals who have lost everything can lead to an increase in opportunistic crime. In the wake of these fires, many individuals, unable to recover or rebuild their lives, may resort to crime as a means of survival. The rise in crime is fueled not just by economic hardship, but by psychological trauma. The stress of losing homes and jobs leads many to take increasingly desperate actions, often driven by emotional exhaustion, grief, and anger. What's more concerning is the fact that many of these criminal activities are not just isolated incidents. They can spiral into more organized crime, particularly in the form of gangs. Los Angeles has long been home to a significant number of active gangs, and they tend to thrive in environments of economic instability and social unrest. In a city already struggling with gang violence, the economic fallout from the wildfires is providing new opportunities for these groups to expand their influence and recruit more members. While the challenges facing Los Angeles are monumental, there are still opportunities for effective intervention. Addressing homelessness and crime in the wake of these wildfires requires both immediate action and long-term planning. The city must act decisively to provide relief to those impacted by the fires, while also investing in structural changes that will mitigate future disasters and provide a more stable and equitable future for all Angelenos. A. Expanding affordable housing solutions. One of the most urgent needs in Los Angeles is expanding affordable housing. The loss of thousands of homes in the wake of the fires exacerbates the city's existing housing crisis. To address this, city officials must prioritize the creation of more affordable housing units, streamline zoning laws to make it easier to build new homes, and provide incentives for developers to create affordable housing in areas that are safe from future wildfires. Moreover, it is critical to focus on rebuilding existing affordable housing, especially in neighborhoods that were disproportionately affected by the wildfires. Low-income communities should receive priority in rebuilding efforts, ensuring that displaced residents have access to safe and affordable housing as quickly as possible. B. Strengthening mental health support systems. Mental health services must be expanded to address the widespread trauma caused by the wildfires. Mental health professionals, particularly those with experience in disaster recovery, should be deployed to provide immediate counseling and long-term care for survivors. Schools, shelters, and community centers should offer access to mental health services, ensuring that individuals and families have the resources they need to cope with their emotional distress. Additionally, mental health services should be made more affordable and accessible, particularly for low-income residents who are already facing economic challenges. The integration of mental health services into general healthcare coverage would help ensure that those affected by disasters receive the care they need without facing financial barriers. C. Strengthening community-based crime. Prevention initiatives. As crime rates rise in the wake of the wildfires, it is essential for Los Angeles to strengthen its community-based crime prevention initiatives. This includes investing in neighborhood watch programs, increasing the presence of community officers, and fostering partnerships between law enforcement and local organizations. These initiatives can help prevent looting and other forms of criminal activity, while also building trust between law enforcement and the communities they serve. The city should also invest in social programs that address the root causes of crime, such as poverty, unemployment, and lack of access to education. By providing opportunities for youth and adults to engage in productive activities, the city can help reduce the appeal of gang involvement and criminal behavior. Strengthening the social fabric of communities will play a vital role in preventing crime and fostering a sense of security. X. Conclusion. The wildfires in Los Angeles have revealed the vulnerability of the city's social, economic, and housing systems. As thousands of residents face displacement, homelessness, and increased crime, it is clear that the city must take bold and immediate action to address these challenges. The devastation caused by these fires is not only a physical crisis, but a profound social and psychological one. The long-term impact on the homeless population, crime rates, and mental health will be felt for years to come unless comprehensive solutions are implemented. The future of Los Angeles depends on its ability to recover and rebuild, both in terms of physical infrastructure and the very social fabric that binds its communities. By investing in affordable housing, mental health support, and community-based crime prevention, the city can pave the way for a more resilient and equitable future. The time for action is now. With coordinated efforts from local government, nonprofits, and residents, Los Angeles can rise from the ashes of disaster and create a city where everyone has access to safe housing, opportunities, and a sense of security. Thank you so much for watching this video on unknown travel. We truly appreciate your time and support. If you enjoyed the content, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Your engagement helps us continue to create insightful videos that tackle important issues and inspire positive change. Don't miss out on future videos. We have plenty more coming your way. Thanks again for being part of our journey, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.